What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Chaos. My name is the-tek, and last year, around April, I released a video about a musical about a cannibal. Yeah, at the time, it just seemed like some kind of weird cursed internet meme that you would find, like, you know, trolling around the deep web just to make people question their sanity. But as it turns out, there's a lot of lore to the channel owned by the person that actually made that video. So we're going to be taking a little bit of a deep dive into the lore of that channel. So this is the channel. This is the person who actually made the film here, Cecilia Condit. And we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive in that. We're also going to be watching this here, Exploring Possibly in Michigan, the Cursed Film Explained. So by the end of this, we'll have a much better understanding because there's a lot of twists and turns to Cecilia's story, and hopefully it kind of goes through all that here. Before we do that, if you like what I do, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Also, consider becoming a channel member, ring all the bells and notifications, because all that stuff helps grow the channel, and I want to be able to do this more and more. I've already narrowed myself down to like only doing content once every week or so. I'd like to be getting back into the swing of doing it multiple times per week. I just need a little bit more time to grow this channel in order to be able to do that. So if you guys do all those things, it'll help out a lot. At least make sure you like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. With that out of the way, let's get into this. All right, we're going to start off with Cecilia's channel. So it all looks, well, just as you imagine, a little fucked. There's possibly Michigan, and there's a couple other ones that people seem to like gravitate towards, apparently. Like this guy, Beneath the Skin. I think that's one of the ones that was hinting at some of the stuff in the past. But we're going to go over that in the video over here. So we're not going to watch these. If you guys want me to watch these, let me know. I was planning on doing just a reaction on this because, you know, just with that, just this little preview here. And also the fact that that is the same actress as her, right? I'm not crazy, am I? Also, Cecilia has a website here. And it's beautiful. Well, that is until you reach this section, and then it's fucked again. One thing I will say, though, is she is a very talented photographer. I mean, look at all this. It looks gorgeous. She also has some writings and stuff like that. This is her whole biography. I'm not going to go through it because, again, we're going to be... Oh, yeah, there's there's that famous little picture. Then there's this interview here, which I was debating watching this, but I didn't know if that would be worth watching and reacting to. But if you guys want me to watch it on camera, I guess, let me know. All right, without further stalling for time, we'll go ahead and play this video here.
Possibly in Michigan.
Wrong, Ohio.
The narration starts with a woman that's just in a shopping mall, and we see this man in a really creepy mask and suit following her. His mouth is like open and agape. It's super creepy.
Sharon attracted violent men. Strangely, she had a way of making the violence seem like it was their idea. Her friend Janice was cut from the same mold. They even liked the same perfume.
Yeah, I remember. It's creepy and cursed, and yeah, this recap is bringing back the nightmares.
We then see the women looking and sampling perfume, and Janice says that one smells like Mother's crazy sister Kate. Sharon says she couldn't have been that crazy because it smells so good, but Janice tells her she is. She had put a poodle in the microwave once to dry it. The microwave exploded and they both died.
Yeah. Again, if you haven't seen my reaction to the video, maybe you should go watch that first. Otherwise, this whole thing's gonna be fucked.
To eat it? Yeah. To eat it? Oh no. No, 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 silly. To dry it. No.
The nightmares.
We then hear more singing, and Sharon asks why she only attracts awful men, saying she kissed a man one time who was known for eating his women friends. Remember that line for later.
Yeah, definitely remember that line for later, because one of the comments that I actually looked up from my old video is it has to do with like the story that kind of influenced possibly in Michigan a little bit. So yeah, remember that.
Sharon goes up the escalator. Janice points behind her to alert Sharon that the man in the mask is still behind her. The women leave them all together as the song with really morbid lyrics continues. We see this footage of Sharon laying down, and then she turns into this black and white corpse. We also see footage of her laying beautifully in a bunch of flowers. My personal interpretation of this is that we're seeing two different sides of Sharon. The first side is when she's with Janice, who's her best friend, and she is happy and in flowers and safe. And then I personally interpret that the corpse visualization of her is just when she gets closer to men or when men are in the vicinity.
I think a lot of us could probably relate to that in a strange way. Both men and women. You ever feel like you attract the wrong kind of person? because I definitely felt that before.
So the women return home and they go into their respective houses. We see Arthur still outside of Sharon's house. We see him in a bunch of different animal masks, and the narrator explains he has worn so many masks to disguise himself that he forgot who he was and who he knew. He's then in a frog mask and then a regular man, as we are told he imagined himself as a frog turned into Prince Charming. He just needed to kiss Sharon to become the man she wanted him to be. He rings her doorbell and we see Sharon sleeping, and overlays of the corpse comes and goes more frequently, furthering the theory that this is the visual we get when there's men close to Sharon. Sharon sees who's at the door, and instead of letting him in, she calls Janice in a panic, explaining to her that the scary man is invading her home, and then we see this man break through her window.
I mean, what would your first reaction be to your stalker showing up unannounced at your home? I probably wouldn't have let them in either.
We then hear the man's voice, who tells Sharon that she has two choices. 1, I will eat you now. Or 2, I will cut your arms and legs off one by one and eat them slowly. Sharon says, why? He says, for love. And she says,
but love shouldn't cost an arm and a leg.
Which is probably my favorite line in the entire film.
You know what? I can agree with that. That is a very great line. And I think we should all remember that next time we're on any sort of dating site.
I really like that even though this is a really surreal film and so odd, it's not graphic at all. Like, you know what they're trying to say, that he is now abusing Sharon, but they don't make it like upsetting and graphic and triggering.
They just make it slightly cursed, and it's definitely very, there's a lot of artistic license, I guess it is, that they take. So it's not like so like on the nose about what's going on. I do agree with that. It just made it really confusing to watch the first time.
So Sharon goes on to say, have there been others? And he says 6. Sharon answers, so I am the 7th. Remember that line as well.
So you had more victims? I'm kind of alluding to what's coming on later, but yeah. That number is definitely going to be important, I feel.
Janice comes over with a gun and shoots the man to protect her friend. The two women then gleefully dismember the man and start to make him into stew. They're seen eating the meat, and they cheers with a glass full of red liquid, which we can only interpret is supposed to be blood.
I mean, it could just be some rosé. You never know.
They are then smoking naked at the table together by the window, and some believe that this represents that the women are actually lovers, not just friends. I personally just think they were washing their clothes after cleaning up their crime scene.
I mean, they could be lovers. Why would they not be lovers? Like, this is 2024. They can be lovers if they want to be.
They then clean up the bones and put them in a trash bag. And I can't be sure, but I am fairly certain that Sharon spits into the bag before it's sealed. The film then ends with Janice and Sharon watching out the window as the garbage man takes the evidence of their deed away.
Best garbage man ever. Everyone needs a garbage man that can help get rid of the bodies. Okay, now I think they're going to get into the lore behind Cecilia here, as well as hopefully what explains the possibly Michigan video.
Cecilia was born in 1947 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Cecilia is quite the artist. She's won several awards, and her work has been featured in exhibits and museums.
Yeah, we saw that, and now it's on YouTube. This is the thing that they remember her by, which is, I mean, it's kind of cool, but at the same time kind of sad, because I think her actual art that's featured in museums is actually better than this. That's just my personal opinion. Although this is still pretty great. Let's not beat around the bush here. I still love it.
But she's best known for this film as it went viral on Reddit in 2015. It's also very popular on TikTok now.
This one here smells great. Which one? Smells like mother's crazy sister. She put her poodle one time to eat in a microwave to eat it, but it exploded, silly, and they were both found dead out of her head.
I will now have nightmares forever.
But to really understand Possibly in Michigan, we actually first need to understand Cecilia's first film, which is much lesser known. This one is from 1981, so 2 years before this came out, and it is also 11 minutes in length. The film is way more just the surreal imagery, and there's a background voiceover of Cecilia telling a story about how what she once had a boyfriend whose ex-girlfriend goes missing, and how no one knows if he really did it or not.
That's going to be very important to talk about, and honestly, we are probably now going to watch that later on. Hopefully she doesn't, like, go over the entire synopsis of that. Let me check. Maybe? I don't know. I hope not, because I want to watch that first, but whatever.
So Cecilia had dated a man named Ira Einhorn, also known as the Unicorn Killer from the 70s. He was a real killer convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend, Holly Maddox. Einhorn is unicorn in German, which is why they called him that. He was actually able to flee the country and spent 23 years in Europe, successfully evading law enforcement before he was finally found and taken back to the United States.
And that's the lore. Okay, there's probably more lore to it than just that, but that's the one that was actually brought to my attention through one of the comments on my Possibly in Michigan video. So yeah, if you guys have more lore or have anything to check out, leave it down in the comments, because I do read that stuff.
He was then sentenced to life in prison, and he just died in April of 2020. But Cecilia explains in the film that he disappeared and he left the country, and so nobody had ever caught him or known if he really did this. And at the time that she made the film, he was gone. And so she mentions that in the film, and it's interesting how now, many decades later, he has now been found and caught.
Better yet, he's actually dead now.
But most importantly, this first film ends with a very important quote.
I dreamed that it was me and not her that he killed 2 years ago. And that's another story.
That is another story. Is this more lore on Possibly in Michigan, or am I missing something? And also, that's what Cecilia sounds like. I didn't expect that to actually be her voice.
And according to an interview with Cecilia, the woman herself, Possibly in Michigan is that other story. So remember those couple of lines I told you to make note of when we were going through Possibly in Michigan? Like how Sharon only dated bad men and once kissed a man who was known for eating his woman friends. And then how Arthur mentioned that he had killed 6 others and that Sharon was supposed to be the 7th. Those are, at least I'm pretty sure, really important references in Possibly in Michigan to the murder of Holly Maddox.
Well, that would make sense. Yeah. But yeah, now that I know more of the lore, like the entire film itself makes more sense. So like, I wish, like, I don't know. I think seeing it like Possibly in Michigan first, then reading up on the lore was probably a better way to go about it. Because now, like, it makes so much more sense. And you also get that initial shock factor when you don't know. Also, if I would have watched Beneath the Skin first, like, it probably would have, like, made more sense. But, like, no one did that, let's be honest. So now that we have this, you got that closure in the end, finally.
Cecilia also said about Possibly in Michigan in this same interview, in much of my work, men are presented as brutal shapeshifters. Throughout the film, author transforms through male stereotypes such as a pig, wolf, frog prince, and Prince Charming, ultimately mutating into a deadly cannibal with a continually open mouth.
Yay.
So that mask that he wears in the beginning that's closest to a human, where he's all gape-mouthed, is, while very creepy, was actually intentional to represent his cannibalistic nature. And when he's not shape-shifting, that's like his real form. As you've probably gathered by this point, Cecilia definitely makes most of her films from a feminist perspective. And you'll see those themes throughout this film and her other works. A lot of the theme is often women who have bonded over being victims and then somehow taken back some of that power.
Not a bad message spread, to be honest. But the one thing I do want to point out is that, like, there's, like, not a whole lot of people talking about, like, when men are made into victims by women. That is a thing that happens. It doesn't get talked about because do you really want to be the guy who got beat up by a girl? I myself have been in a couple abusive relations. Maybe not physically, but they were definitely, like, psychologically abusive, so to speak. So been there. It's horrible. But yeah, it's good that she's actually talking about this stuff. I'm supposed to be funny. This is not funny. I need to be funny.
So as a full summary, the film is really about 2 women that are victims, and they then, you know, flip the script, and the man that's chasing them becomes their victim instead.
Yay, murder. I like murder. Murder's fun. That's why I play Dead by Daylight.
But really, you know, it's about the womanly bond and that friendship and banding together to take back their lives when they have been victimized. So that's kind of the interpretation of the film. Let's also talk about how there's been this rumor that the film is cursed.
Do we have to? I don't want to talk about how the film is cursed because there's no such thing as curses. But what a lovely message. Did you have to go so creepy about it? Actually, never mind. It's still gorgeous. Obviously, I like creepy things, as you can tell. But this one was different. Like I said before, it's like one of those deep web videos you find that people think are just like really just like videos of like serial killings or weird stuff like that, but it turns out it's just an art piece. It's about the same, thing there.
But yeah, it went viral on Reddit and that kind of rumor started, and then it going back on TikTok. Having viral cursed movies is a very popular concept, I think. And I mean, it's just a rumor that if you watch the film, something really bad will happen to you, or you'll die, or somebody else will die, or something like that. I've seen it many, many, many times though, and I have had no issues. So I don't think that it's actually cursed. I think just because it's so weird, people, of course, just kind of think that because it makes it more fun to watch.
I don't think it's cursed. I've watched it, and nothing bad has happened to me since the accident. Alright, so that was a whole thing, pretty much. And I feel enlightened now, knowing the lore. And there's still more lore here. Like, look at all this. Look at it all. Look at all this. Look at all this lore. This is the one that they were talking about beneath the skin that we gotta watch. Why not a sparrow? This is fucking art. Let me know what you guys thought about this in the comment section down below or over in the Discord channel. I tried to make these reviews and stuff funny, but like this one was more just like lore and stuff. So yeah, it's nice to have one of these like ones where I get to sit back and just like react to like just the lore itself. But don't worry, I'll try to when we catch up with Cecilia next time, we'll be watching Beneath the Skin right over here from 1981, and I'll make that funny. Give me other weird suggestions like this, because they seem to do really well. Also, leave any suggestions for games that you want to see me play or something like that. I'm thinking about doing Hooked on You, the Dead by Daylight game, dating sim, because, well, I've been obsessed with Dead by Daylight recently, and, yeah, I just want to do more Dead by Daylight related content like that. I think that would be a funny one. Let me know what you guys think about that. And like I said before, if you like what I do, consider becoming a member of the meme cult. Subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff, and get all the notifications. And if you want to support me further, you can pay your tithe as a meme cult member by becoming a channel member. And that'll really help out support the channel, or you can send me an offering as in the form of a super thanks. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed it, feel free to show me some love down below by hitting the like button, and don't forget to check out the annotations for more videos. Now we'll see you in the next video.